Welcome to our class today on getting started with crypto trading using algorithms. I'm going to be showing you some really cool stuff today. Throughout the whole presentation, feel free to use the chat like you guys already did to let me know if you have any questions or anything like that. I'm more than happy to answer any questions throughout. Definitely much more interesting when this is interactive. So here's our agenda for today. First thing, we're going to get to know you guys a little bit. It's really good when we have this more of like a two-way dialogue as opposed to me just telling you things and whatnot. It's better if you guys can participate. So it'd be helpful to get to know who's on this call. Then we're going to talk about your instructor, which is myself in this case. We're going to do a quick introduction into kind of what we're all about, what Lumiwealth is all about, and our courses and whatnot. Then we're going to talk about why we want to do algorithms. We're going to show you a couple of examples of companies that run algorithms and how successful they are. Spoiler alert, they are quite successful, these quantitative hedge funds. Then we'll talk about a little bit about our technology, and then the fun stuff will go into the demos. I'll show you guys a bunch of demos of some of our algorithms so you can see kind of how they all work. All right. So first things first, if you guys could tell me a little bit about yourselves, right? If you could just answer these three questions, I'll type these out into the chat as well so you guys have them ready. You have them there in front of you. If you could just type these out into the chat box so we can kind of get to know you a little bit. I'll start off first. I'll tell you a little bit about myself, right? So first question is, what is your occupation? My occupation is CEO of Lumiwealth. It's my job to make sure that everyone's happy with our courses and soon to be our investment products as well. I've been, do I know how to program? Yeah, I've been coding for almost 25 years now. It's been a very long time. I've been running, I've coded in almost every language you could think of. Python, of course, JavaScript, Ruby on Rails, C, C++, Java, Golang, I mean, name it, PHP, name a language. I've probably coded it before. Definitely been doing this for quite some time. I've also managed a lot of software teams as well. I've probably managed over 100 or 200 software engineers in my lifetime. And then how much crypto experience do you have? I think I got involved in crypto pretty early. Actually, funny enough, I got a chance to meet Vitalik Buterin way back in the day here in Toronto when he was just starting off Ethereum. And I personally thought it was nonsense back then, but things have really progressed quite far since then. So I've been in crypto easily, 5-6 years. Definitely made quite a bit of money. I seem to have a knack of buying at the bottom and selling at the top. I'm starting to build up my position again. I've done that twice in 2 cycles, so it's pretty good. But okay, let me read you guys here. So we have Christopher. Welcome, Christopher. You're a journalist, and 3 months. Right, so 3 months crypto experience. Cool. So you're a newbie. Awesome. Welcome. Joseph, trader, novice programmer, and 5 years of crypto experience. Very cool. Sounds like you're in the exact right spot, Joseph. People like you tend to do very well in our classes. That's awesome. Welcome. And Terrell, you're a food service designer. You know a bit, but it's been a while. And then 18 months of crypto. Very cool. Awesome. Sounds like we have a good bunch of you guys here today. For those of you that are just joining, we're answering these questions inside of the chat. If you write that into the chat. But thank you very much, guys. Welcome to this webinar here today. Stephen as well. Yeah, thank you, Stephen. I think this is great. Our courses, we try to make them as beginner friendly as possible. You do not have to be an experienced programmer to go through them. Although if you do have programming experience, you tend to go a lot faster through it, and you tend to really, I've seen some really cool stuff from people that really are good at programming, but you don't have to do that. We're very beginner friendly. We try to take you guys through the very beginning of everything. Right. So let me tell you a little bit more about myself. I kind of already told you a bunch, but I'm CEO of Lumiwealth. I have a master's in finance. I've been coding for over 20 years, managed a lot of software teams. I've founded and sold a few businesses in my lifetime. The company that I was at, actually, before I say that, I've worked on Wall Street for some amount of time. One company I worked on at Wall Street was a company called Greystone. We built a piece of software that I think today it's probably done like $15 billion worth of mortgages, which is pretty cool. We built like a mortgage app. My job there was basically to manage the product, hire engineers, and make sure that it was built properly, as well as doing a little bit of coding as well myself. Then I went on to go work at Voyager. You guys may have heard of them. It's pretty amazing what happened to that company. When I joined, it was, basically just the four of us in a WeWork. I was one of the very early stage employees. Left the company around pretty much right before the pandemic to go off and start this Lumiwealth, right? I left the company when crypto was still kind of coming back. After I left, things went really crazy with the stock price. I think I made probably like $1 million off of that stock, which is amazing. Sold most of it around the peak. So actually tend to have very good timing with this type of stuff. So I made quite a bit of money off Voyager. It, of course, has now been involved in this crazy debacle with 3AC, Three Arrows Capital. If you guys have any questions around that, I'd be happy to answer some questions. But that was definitely a pretty crazy ride. Happy that I sold my stocks around the top. Now, what I'm working on is, or what we're working on, I should say, is Lumiwealth. This company is all about how do we use software to help you make more money investing. That's what we're all about, right? We have a lot of different ways that we can do that. We have quite a few different courses, right? We have classes on blockchain development, on crypto trading, which is this one that we're going to be talking about, how to build algorithms to trade crypto. We have one on algorithmic trading, which is kind of more building algorithms for stocks and things like that. We have another class like that on options as well, creating options trading algorithms. People seem to be much more interested in that these days, especially given the market conditions. What else do we have? We have a machine learning course. We have a bunch of stuff that will teach you how to do this stuff. And we're also launching something like an investment product very soon. You guys may have gotten some stuff in the mail. Basically, a lot of the algorithms that we're going to be talking about today, we will be selling them. And if you guys go through our courses, you will also be able to put them up on our website and make money selling them as well. So even if you don't have a lot of capital, let's say you're someone that, you've kind of just put together your first $1,000 or something like that, right? You can still make quite a bit of money going through these courses by learning to build these algorithms. We'll take your algorithms, we'll put it up on our website. And if someone buys your algorithms, then we will pay you a commission, right? So that's what we're building out here. So it all kind of comes together, right? We're able to sell these algorithms that we spent so much time getting good at. And also, if you take our courses, you will be able to put them up on our website and make some money off it as well. So not only are you making money for yourself, but you're making money for other people as well, right? Which I think would be a very cool thing to do. All right, so that's kind of where we're going, what we're up to. I've already kind of described to you what Lumiwealth is. We also have a YouTube channel. Definitely check out our YouTube. I'm going to put this into the chat and open it up here as well. All right, so here's our YouTube channel. We have quite a few things in here. The recording of today's class is actually going to be in here as well. So if you want to find that recording, check it out here. We also have some demos of a few of our strategies. We're going to be adding in quite a few more demos of our strategies into here as well. We have interviews with a lot of people in that are fund managers, investment advisors, people that work in blockchain. There's a friend of mine here, Uzair, who created a decentralized exchange. It's a very interesting conversation. We also have a lot of testimonials and reviews if you're interested in, what did our past students say? What did they think about our courses? You can check them out inside of here as well. So lots of good stuff. We release a lot of free content regularly, so make sure that you check us out. Hit that subscribe button, hit that bell button so you get all those updates. All right. Okay. We also have a Discord channel. This is really cool as well. Let me show you the link. I'm going to send that link into the chat. Our Discord is fantastic. So basically, it's like a chat room. If you guys have never heard of Discord, I don't know where you've been, but Discord is fantastic. It's kind of like Slack. It's a messaging platform where you can join, for example, that link there for Discord. That's to join our server. You can join into our server. We have a lot of public channels where people talk about all these different investment topics. Our alumni are in here if you ever want to ask any questions to our alumni. kind of get to know what other people have been up to. We have Forex channels, stock channels, a lot of stuff there. And then when you actually join one of our classes, we also have private channels here as well, where you'll be able to communicate with people that have taken the classes in the past if you have any questions or anything like that. Lots of really good stuff in here. All right. Okay, so it's our Discord. And then again, make sure that you ask questions throughout this presentation. It's much better when these presentations are interactive, right? So don't hold your questions until the end. If you have some questions, just let me know, type it into the chat and I'll respond to it. It's a lot more interesting when we have a dialogue going back and forth. Right? Okay, so let's dive into it, all right? So for starters, why the heck would you want to use algorithms to trade crypto, right? Why not just trade it on your own? Why not just go into your brokerage account, buy some crypto, and do whatever you want to do there? Well, first of all, it's because crypto is and there's many reasons, but here are the top 4 that I have. First of all, crypto is a 24-hour market, right? So I'll give you an example of when the news came out that Russia was going into Ukraine. The crypto markets kind of had a fit, right? I don't know if you guys are watching it at that period of time, but it was basically dropped 10% in a matter of like 2 hours. Super fast drop, and came right back up very, very quickly, right? Chances are you were probably asleep at that time, right? Or you were pretty much getting ready for bed, and who's going to sit there watching the market until like 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, right? Especially in America, right? Or even if you're in a different part of the world, right? The same thing goes. Crypto is a 24-hour market. So, you could be asleep when certain things are happening. You could be, eating dinner. You could be doing all sorts of stuff, and you don't realize what's happening, right? If you had an algorithm going at that period of time, it would have been very simple for it to say, wow, this is going down very fast. Exit the market for a little bit. I'll show you. There's a mean reversion strategy. It kind of does something similar to this today. I'm going to demo for you guys. Exit the market for a second. Wait a bit. When it comes back, come back in, and then you could make your money back. Or vice versa. You could have been having an algorithm that's looking for news. It found a significant news event. You see how the market's reacting. You could even make money short selling that on the way down as well. So there's a lot of really interesting things that you could do in trading crypto, but it would require you to be paying attention to stuff 24/7. And I don't know about you guys, but I like to sleep. I like to have my dinner. I like some peace and quiet in my life every once in a while. So the algorithms really do help you a lot with that. Right. Second of all, there's thousands of assets out there. Right. I don't know if you guys have ever looked through the whole universe of crypto coins, but there's so many of them out there. There's tons of them on Binance. If you go to something like a decentralized exchange, like a Pancake Swap or a Sushi Swap, there's just literally like thousands upon thousands of these things. A lot of them are garbage, right? Of course. But if you can sift through a lot of that garbage, you can actually find a lot of really good gems, right? Doing that manually can be a pain. If you have an algorithm, it can make things a lot easier for you. You could be constantly scanning for coins. Is there some sort of breakout happening? Is there some news that happened with a particular coin? This is very hard to pay attention to as a regular person, just watching, the news and whatnot. But if you have an algorithm, you can be paying attention to all this stuff, and you could be the first one to jump on board when there's some really good activity going on. I can tell you some coins that have done really well lately, is like Guard, things like that. You would be jumping into those sooner rather than later and taking advantage of that cash, and also jumping out sooner rather than later. You could have things that protect you against losses as well. So thousands of assets, an algorithm will really help you go through all those. Right? There's also hundreds of exchanges, right? Which means that there's a lot of opportunities there as well. I'm working on a project with a friend of mine as well, where we're doing arbitrage across exchanges, and doing that kind of stuff can actually make you quite a bit of money. Things can be priced one way on one exchange and something else on another. Bitcoin, like it doesn't really happen with Bitcoin anymore. But, just as an example, back in the day, Bitcoin, would have been going for $1,000 on one exchange, $1,000, 100 on another. meaning you could buy it for 1,000, sell it for 1,100, and just keep doing that loop over and over and over again and make quite a bit of money doing that. So that's also another really good advantage. They could be going through all these different exchanges, managing all these things very quickly all at the same time. Right? Also, trends can change very fast. If you guys are in the crypto market, you know this firsthand. You know, it's not like stocks, right? Like a 10% down day in stocks is like one of the worst days on record, right? We saw a lot of those in 2020 for stocks. 10% down on crypto is not that crazy at all. I think it happened something like 4 or 5 times this year alone, right? Let alone in its history. So trends really change quite quickly. And if you're running a bot, volatility can actually be your friend. You can make quite a bit of money on these up and down movements. Okay, so it's definitely a great way to utilize a bot to make you some money, right? And of course, there's a lot more than this, right? These are my top 4 reasons, but there's also a lot more reasons why these types of bots really make your life a lot easier, help you make more money, and kind of help you keep your sanity, right? It's definitely quite a bit simpler to trade, or at least in the long run, once you have it set up, simpler to trade these sorts of things, right? But don't take my word for it. There's a lot of companies that make quite a bit of money doing this stuff, right? So a lot of these companies, they started off in stocks. They also now do crypto as well. But here's a list of a couple of companies that make their living building trading algorithms, right? I want to actually get you the exact number here for one of these things, but basically, these hedge funds that they're called quantitative hedge funds, where they use trading algorithms and lots of data to trade, as opposed to kind of the typical stuff. There's one guy there who's like this genius, and he pulls the strings, whatever. Those types of funds are starting to become things of the past. We don't really see as many funds like that ending up being very good, except for the ones that kind of stuck around. You see your Berkshires and things like that still stick around. But a lot of the ones that are being a lot more successful lately are these quantitative hedge funds, right? So some of them, to give you a couple examples, right? So probably one of the most famous, I want to say, quantitative hedge funds. These guys have been around for a while. Really, really did quite well in the game. These guys, last time I checked, had $110 billion worth of assets, although I wouldn't be surprised if that's significantly higher at this point. I checked about a year ago their assets, but they've probably done very well. I know in 2020 and 2021, they did extremely well. So this number is probably much bigger now. Although they don't really allow any more investors. This is kind of their own money at this point. They were an investment fund for a while, and now they just don't take any more capital. They've done so well that they don't need to. These guys reportedly, if you look at their filings, over 30-year period, it was a very long period, okay, they've made 39% returns on average. Okay. So for those of you that don't know too much about finance, this is an incredibly high return over this time period. This is probably one of the best performing hedge funds ever in all of history. Okay, 39% returns per year. Okay, that means, and that's average, by the way, right? That means that in 2008, when the market fell apart, these guys, and by the way, they only lost money, I think 1 quarter in that entire time period. They never lose money. These guys do not lose money. They don't have down quarters, down days. They don't have that, right? So even like 2008, when the whole market was down 55%, these guys were still breaking even, right? When the market was up in 2020, everyone was making like 80%. These guys made like 120 or 130%, right? So I'm talking about on average 39% returns, right? Over 30 years, these guys like never lose money. Okay. And to give you an idea of how much money and how profitable this is, if you've never learned about compound interest, you've never done the math behind it, this is an astonishingly high return, right? So for example, if you invest in the stock market, which is known to be quite a good investment, right? And I hope you are investing in the stock market. If you put $1,000 away for 30 years, right, you would have made $17,449 at the end of it, right? That's pretty good, right? $1,000 turning into 17,000. This is why they say put your money into the stock market for retirement. It's definitely a very good thing for just sitting there doing nothing, right? But if you were Renaissance, that $1,000, and let me get you the exact figure here because I have an approximation. I'm going to give you that exact dollar amount. It's 1.39 to the power of 30, right? $1.39 to the power of 30. 8 times 1,000, right? This is, okay. If you had put that in, it would be 19,518,390.72. But I'll leave that out. If you had invested with Renaissance as opposed to putting your money into the stock market over that 30-year period, you would be making 10% or you'd be making 39% instead of 10%. That $1,000 would turn to $19.5 million as opposed to $17,000. Very, very dramatic difference. So you're looking at that number, 39%. You might think, oh yeah, it's only 4 times the stock market. It's 4 times the stock market every single year and compounding every single year. You end up with significantly more money. This is more than 1,000 times more money because of that. Significant difference. Imagine you can make returns like that. You would be extremely wealthy. I mean, you take your life savings, put into that, just wait for a bit, you'll be one of the richest people on earth. You know what I mean? Very, very, very profitable. And these guys actually have a really cool book about them. I'm going to put this into the chat, this link. It's a very interesting book. Highly recommend that you guys read this. The link is in the chat. It's called The Man Who Solved the Market, right? And it's a book about Jim Simmons. And Jim Simmons is the guy that created Renaissance. He's the founder of it, right? Very interesting book. Talks about, how did they get started, right? They started in like the 70s or the 80s when computers were like this brand new thing. No one really knew how to run anything on a computer. They somehow figured out how to make computers trade for them, which in itself was quite a feat back then, right? Took them some time. It took them a couple months or a year or two, I think, before they actually finally started making some algorithms that were pretty profitable. But then as soon as they hit their stride, they were just taking off like a rocket ship, right? They were able to beat the market in ways that people had never even dreamed of doing, right? They're beating the stock market. Even when the stock market was down, they're still making money. When the stock market's up, they're making 4 times more than everyone else. And what's interesting too is that it's uncorrelated with the stock market. So it doesn't really matter what's happening. It's an extremely great hedge fund that they created and made them very, very rich. Jim Simmons is one of the richest people on earth. I think he's worth like $20-30 billion. I can actually check this out. Jim Simmons net worth. He's a very private person, so I wouldn't be surprised if it's more than what's reported. $30 billion. Not bad for a life's work. My guess is he probably has more money than that hidden away somewhere in Bitcoin or something. Keep it away from a tax man. I wouldn't be surprised. But he became fantastically rich, but so did everyone else that was working with him. The stories are crazy. The people that were part of this fund, they were like buying houses and forgetting that they even existed. They were like just absolutely insane amounts of money. Imagine you basically just had like an ATM in your house that just kept spitting out money nonstop. That's basically the kind of money that these guys had. Literally billions of dollars is what they were making. Very, very successful. And very interesting read if you're interested in this topic of algorithmic trading. Right? But they're not the only ones. Renaissance made quite a bit of money, but so do other companies as well. There are also these quantitative hedge funds that use algorithms. Right? Two Sigma is another one. Last time I checked, they're managing $60 billion. It's probably much higher by now. Same thing. They tend to beat the market regularly and without taking crazy risks either. Citadel is another one that makes quite a bit of money. And these guys, they have a hedge fund that's making them tons of money. And then they're like a market maker for Robinhood as well. These guys are just stupid rich. If you ever read about the guy that started Citadel, he is fantastically rich. Same thing, using software to trade. These guys that are trading stocks and trading bonds and options and all that kind of stuff using algorithms, making a lot of money. Bridgewater is another one, although they don't use algorithms directly to trade. They use a lot of data science to figure out where they should be placing their bets. These guys make quite a bit of money as well. You may have heard of the guy that runs it called Ray Dalio. His name is Ray Dalio. Very famous lately. He's been in the news quite a bit. And they actually, surprisingly, this first quarter, the stock market's down. It was one of the worst quarters since the 1970s in the stock market. These guys still made a ton of money. These guys were up 30% when the whole stock market was down 30%. So they beat the stock market by 60% in the first quarter of this year. Very, very profitable and very successful company. And then the last one I want to talk about is D.E. Shaw. And tell me if you guys know someone who used to work here. You guys definitely know this person. And tell me if anyone here knows who this is. You guys can just type it into the chat. And by the way, welcome to everyone that joined a little later on. Welcome to the class. Got a couple people here: Joseph, Nicholas, Anton, Stephen. I think you guys are all you just joined recently. So D.E. Shaw has an interesting story behind it, right? So a very famous person that you guys definitely know of called Jeff Bezos. Welcome, Nicholas. You're welcome. A very famous person that you guys have definitely heard of, named Jeff Bezos, used to work at D.E. Shaw. This is one of his first jobs that he got in New York City, right? You may have heard the story, right? Jeff Bezos used to be a Wall Street guy. He worked on Wall Street and, in his 20s. This was the company that he worked at, D.E. Shaw. And what D.E. Shaw did back then and still does now, is they build trading algorithms, right? They use a lot of data science. They pull a lot of information from around the world to make their bets on stocks around the world in different ways, right? And when Jeff Bezos was working at D.E. Shaw, he had access to a lot of data, right? Because that's what these companies do, the quantitative hedge funds. That's what we do, right? We have a lot of data as well. And he noticed that the internet was growing at this insane pace, right? Something like, 5x per year or some crazy number like that. And he's like, the internet looks like a very interesting place to be, right? Maybe I should build a business around that. So he went off, came up with the idea for Amazon, and, the rest is pretty much history, right? He decided to quit D.E. Shaw. The CEO really tried to keep him on board, said, I'll pay you tons of money. He's like, I don't care. I want to run my own business. I think they're paying him something like 400 grand or something back then. It was quite a bit of money. Very well paid positions, by the way, at these companies. And, basically went off, started Amazon, and that's, ended up making a heck of a lot more money. But my point is here, when you're doing this type of stuff, when you're building trading algorithms, when you're using data science to help you with your investment decisions, you're in very good company. Some of the richest people on earth are doing this stuff. And when you get involved in this stuff, that's kind of the company that you're involved in and the types of things that you can expect to start happening in your life as well. Using data, using software to help you invest is a very significant tool that can really help you crank out better returns without taking crazy risks. That's what we're all about here. Right? So let me tell you a little bit about our technology. Right? So we created a library. This way, if you guys want to look us up, this is for those of you that know how to code. You can look up our library, Lumiwealth. Right. Here's our library that we created. You can learn a little bit about what it does and all that. But basically, we've created a Python library that helps it make it a lot easier for you to create your own algorithms, to back test your algorithms. So back testing is basically when you create an algorithm, you want to see how it would have done in the past, right? So I'm going to show you a couple back tests today, actually, where it's like, I've created this algorithm. Now I want to know, right? Because, how do you guys invest, right? Like you might invest by saying, oh, I've read this book and I've heard this person tell me to do this. And that's great. And maybe they're good. It's good advice that they're giving you. Maybe it's not. Maybe it's garbage advice. There's a lot of really bad advice out there these days. A lot of scammers and that sort of thing. It's crazy how much I get in my inbox. You guys probably get a ton as well. But, instead of trusting someone else to say, oh, this is a good investment idea, you could check it yourself, right? You could build this algorithm, whatever they say to do, maybe it's some when an RSI crosses here or a MACD does this or whatever. There's usually a lot of technical analysis stuff for crypto that people listen to. You could actually take that, build an algorithm, and see how it would have performed in 2016, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, and 22. You could test and see, would it have done well in those time periods? Would it have made me money or would it have not, right? I think that's a very good thing to understand. So we've built this technology to make it a lot easier for you guys to do this. You can create a trading algorithm with the same code. You can back test it and you can trade it. So it's very simple for you guys to build this stuff. We connect to several different exchanges right now for crypto. We connect to Coinbase, Binance, KuCoin, Alpaca, and we're adding in more regularly, right? We also connect to quite a few stock brokerages as well. So if you learn how to do this for crypto, it's very similar to do this stuff for stocks or for options, right? It allows you to trade 24/7. Your trading intervals can be as low as 1 second. We actually want to speed that up even more. You can trade multiple strategies at once in different portfolios. You can get historical data. You can trade a wide range of coins and markets. And most importantly, we make this as easy as possible for you guys to use. We're really all about making this simple, easy, so you guys can build your algorithms, focus on making money. You know? So that's our technology, right? I'm going to show you a couple of demos using that technology to build a few different trading strategies, right? So I'm going to show you 4 of them today. There's quite a few more that I can show you, but I don't want to keep you here for too long. But we do have quite a few. If you take our full course, which I'll talk to you about at the end of this, if you take our full course, you get access to all of these. You'll get access to the code. You'll be able to run it yourself. You'll be able to modify it. Maybe you could even find ways to make it these things even better than what they are. But let me talk to you about these 4 strategies, right? So the first one I'm going to go over is this custom ETF strategy. That's what we decided to call it. And basically, it's pretty simple, but simple and effective, right? It's quite a good way to make money. And what it does, actually, let me open this up first and let me run this so you guys can see kind of this back testing capability. I have to find it first. Mean reversion, custom ETF. There it is. Here's that strategy and code, right? I'm going to hit run on it and make sure it's in back testing mode. Yeah. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to back test this strategy and I could set the dates. Here I have dates where I'm going from basically just all of 2021. We're going from January 15th to December 31st. If you guys want, let me know. We could change these dates. The results are still pretty similar in different time frames. I'm just doing this so it can run the back test pretty quickly. And you'll see the result here, and it is pretty impressive, the result that we get from such a simple strategy. Let me bring this over here. Popped up my other window. Every time you run a strategy with our technology using Lumiwealth, you get these 2 graphs automatically. One of them is going to show you all the trades that are placed, right? And you can see here, our strategy is this one here with all the trades, right? And then we also want to compare it to something. In our case, we're comparing it to Bitcoin, right? So you see that we beat Bitcoin here. You could see everything what the strategy did every time it bought and sold. Here it sold 28 Ethereum, sold, and we could look at a bought 0.24 Ethereum. So it's just buying and selling stuff around here, right? You could even zoom in and see exactly what it did in each time period, right? I could also see the tear sheet of how it did, right? This is our strategy in the blue, right? And then the benchmark, which is Bitcoin in the yellow. So Bitcoin did pretty well in 2021. We did better, right? Bitcoin was up 25%. We were up 77%, right? Or more specifically, 27% versus 77. We tripled Bitcoin. We did 3 times better than Bitcoin, right? So how do we do that? You might ask, right? That's our strategy. That's what would have happened if we were running this thing. We backtested over this time period. That's what we would have gotten if we had ran it during that time period. Is also same in different time periods as well. It's a very simple strategy, right? But very effective. This one, what it does, it takes 3 coins, right? It takes, I'll show you in code here. It takes Bitcoin Ethereum, and Litecoin, and they're 33% each. You could actually change this to be different coins if you'd like, right? But basically what it does is it buys all three coins and then rebalances on a regular basis, right? So let's say you have $1 million, or let's say $100,000. You'll buy $33,000 in each, right? And then if one of them goes up in value, it will sell that coin and buy the one that went down, right? So what you're constantly doing throughout this entire year is you're selling high and buying low, right? Because these three coins are all going to stay correlated with each other. So whenever one gets out of whack, you're buying the one that's down and you're selling the one that's up. And that is, first of all, making you know, the gains because you're buying low and selling, or buying low, selling high. And also because you're well diversified, you're able to do this without taking on a crazy risk either, right? So here, not only are we making 77% returns versus the 27, but we're also doing it in style. We're doing it without taking on crazy risk, right? Here, Bitcoin, its biggest crash, its max drawdown from the peak to the bottom in 2021 was a max drawdown of 53%. It went from, it looks like around here in, you know, what was that, March 2021, and then dropped 53% to about August, and then came back up again, right? So that's your max loss, your max drawdown on Bitcoin, 53%. Ours was a little worse, but 60% versus 53, not that big of a difference, especially considering we're tripling the returns. So we're getting 3 times the returns, but the risk is still pretty similar, right? Same thing with volatility. Volatility meaning how much it goes up and down on a regular basis, right? This is your max drawdown is your biggest drop. Your volatility is your day-to-day up and down swings, right? So the day-to-day up and down swings for Bitcoin was 65%, right? Ours were 72%. So a very similar volatility to Bitcoin. So meaning that, again, we're getting triple the returns and still keeping about the same level of risk. Very good strategy, in my opinion. I think this is a great way to invest. I mean, with a caveat, I'm not an investment advisor, right? You know, thinking more and more about this legal stuff lately because we're launching a fund soon. But definitely some pretty incredible results here, right? Okay, so that's one of them. So that's one of our strategies, custom ETF, right? I could show you this thing trading live as well. Maybe I'll show you that too. I could show you guys, let's see. I'll log into my Alpaca account and I'll show you guys this thing in one of the accounts. We'll go here. So I'm gonna have to reset this. I'm gonna reset my account here. This is it's a paper trading account. So just so you guys can see kind of an idea of how this works, right? You could actually see this thing trade a third inside of these, right? Or if I even change the weightings, I could change the weightings too. So if you just give me 1 second here, I got to put in my credentials. There we go. There we go. Save. You guys can link it to your own brokerages very easily like that too. All you gotta do is copy over some things and now it will work on yours. Very simple to do. All right. And then here, I'm even going to change this. I'm not going to go a third. I'm going to go, let's say 20, 20, 20, right? Just so you guys get an idea of how you could modify these algorithms very easily. You can add in different coins here if you wanted to. It doesn't have to be Bitcoin, Ethereum. You can back test different combinations of different things. But here I'll put in 20, 20, 20, and I'll switch it to live, right? All I got to do is go true, save it and run. And you'll see that in a second here, you see our account. There's nothing in it. While we wait for this thing to launch, run, you'll see that it will automatically go in. And there we go. We have 20,000, 20,000, 20,000, automatically 20% into each one of our portfolio. And we could just run this algorithm and just hold it for, you know, as long as you want, right? And just constantly be making money off this, right? Why buy Bitcoin and make 30% when you can buy this strategy and make 75, 80%, right? Seems like a pretty obvious answer to me, right? That's just one of our strategies. Let me show you a couple more. I'm going to put this back to the original because this is part of our class. That's one strategy. That's our custom ETF. Then we also have another strategy here, a mean reversion strategy. This one's killer too. This one has really impressive results. I'm not going to show you the back test for this one because this will take a really long time to run. This thing, it took me maybe 3 hours to back test because it's quite a bit of data that it goes through. But I'll first describe to you kind of what it does, and I'll show you the results, right? Which I ran a few weeks ago to kind of get to be able to show you guys this, right? So basically what it does is it's a reversion to the mean strategy, which are pretty popular, right? There's different flavors of these types of things. You can modify this if you want to, right? You can actually even use machine learning to make this even smarter if you wanted to, right? And we show you how to do some machine learning in this class. But basically, it's going to buy when RSI is less than 25. If you don't know what RSI is, it stands for Relative Strength Indicator. It is one type of technical indicator on that you could use on stocks or options or whatever, right? RSI basically means when RSI is low, it means things are probably oversold, right? So that's why we're saying if it's lower than 25, that's might want to buy, right? And then we're also checking if the closing price is lower than the lower Bollinger Band. And again, if you don't know what Bollinger Band is, Bollinger Bands, right? This is kind of what they look like. It's basically this. This is a better representation here. It's basically you run an average through the middle of your entire stock. It's a moving average going through the middle, and then you put a standard deviation around it, and you end up having kind of this looking thing, right? You have your stock price in the middle, and then you have these boundaries around, right? So now what we're looking for is we're looking for RSI that's less than 25, and we're looking for when the closing price is lower than the lower Bollinger Band. Okay, so we're looking for those two things together. We're looking for a low RSI, lower than 25, and we're looking for the closing price to be less than the lower Bollinger Band. And Christopher, you said you lost me. Tell me where I lost you. What do you find confusing? And I can kind of elaborate a little bit, right? But for those of you, everyone else, let me kind of repeat kind of what we're doing here is we're looking at two types of technical indicators, right? And technical indicators, if you don't know what they are basically looking at price movements in this case, crypto, right? There's a lot of different kind of technical indicators you can use. There's MACD, there's RSI, there's moving averages, there's all sorts of stuff like that. And Christopher says he's back. Awesome. It's great. So then we have these two indicators, one of them RSI, which is basically, okay, you lost your feed. Okay, no problem. Thank you, Christopher. So we're looking at RSI being low, and we're also looking at the closing price being lower than the lower Bollinger Band. That's a buy signal for us. We have two things that confirm each other, right? We have a confirmation between two things. Then we also, so that's when we buy, and then we sell when RSI is greater than 75, right? Meaning, again, it's probably oversold, right? If RSI less than 25, less than 25 is oversold, over 75 is overbought, right? Meaning that it's probably a good time to sell, right? So now we're looking for an RSI greater than 75 and the closing price being above the upper Bollinger Band. So being out of the top range like this here, right? So we're buying when things are low, we're selling when things are high, we're reverting to the mean, right? So very powerful strategy, right? You guys may have heard a lot of people talk on the internet about their different strategies or whatever. Here's a nice back test of how this one worked. I have different time periods I can show you here too. Here is from 2022, January 1st until April. How would it have done in this massive crypto crash? Well, check it out. Bitcoin during this time period was down 46%. Our strategy, if you had followed it, you would have been up 36%. So we smoked Bitcoin in this case. We're outperforming Bitcoin by something like 80%, right? Everyone else is losing money. You're still making money using this strategy. Pretty amazing, right? Also, our max drawdown is less, right? So before we were making, we're tripling our money, but then we are taking a little bit more risk. In our case, we're actually taking less risk. Our max drawdown is lower than Bitcoin, right? So less risk in terms of max drawdown, and also less risk in terms of volatility. So we're taking less risk and we're making 80% more. That's pretty damn impressive if you ask me. Here's another example of the same strategy, but over a different time period. People have asked me about this, like, oh yeah, well, that's just one time period. Here's another time period, right? Just so you could see. Here's from 2021 January until May of 2022. You can see that it's still really outperformed as well, right? Where Bitcoin did 35% over this whole time period. We did 125%. Not bad. 4 times the return. I could deal with that, right? And Bitcoin is doing pretty well by itself, not going to lie. We are still beating that, right? Bitcoin was doing well and we're still beating it, right? 35% over this time period is nothing to shrug at, but for us to get 125, I mean, I don't know anything really that did that well except for some crazy coins like your meme coins or whatever, which are now worth pretty much zero, right? This is consistently making you money year after year. No matter even what happens, you can back test. You can see how it would have done in bear markets. You can see how it would have done in bull markets. You can actually test all that stuff and see how it done. Be very calculated, be scientific about your investing, right? Again, the same thing over this time period. Max drawdown was 30% versus 53. Taking on less risk, right? Less volatility, less max drawdown, and quadruple the returns. Pretty damn nice if you ask me. So that's our other strategy. That's our mean reversion strategy I want to show you today. I kind of want to show you a couple flavors, right? We have a bunch of different, people ask me, what's the best algorithm to use? I think the best algorithm to use is a bunch of them, right? You want to diversify your holdings. Some of them are going to do better than others in certain situations. And that's what most of these big hedge funds do is they run several algorithms at once. And they make quite a bit of money doing that. So here's one that's using technical analysis. We had one showing you using kind of like portfolio theory, modern portfolio theory. Here's another thing I want to show you, and this is less of a strategy, right, that I want to use, but I want to show you kind of the capabilities of our technology. All right, so I want to show you what our tech can do and show you that you can actually really customize your stuff and you can really hone in on your strategies. So here's this momentum strategy, and I'm going to run the back test while I'm speaking and describing it. So what this strategy does is it's a pretty simple momentum strategy, right? I personally wouldn't be investing in something like this, to be honest with you. But I want to show you the capabilities of our back testing engine and showing you how you can tweak your strategy and actually figure out what is going to work best for you using this technology, right? So instead of, again, listening to what someone else is telling you to do, you can kind of come up with the stuff yourself, right? So what this strategy does, it's a momentum strategy, right? And it basically will exit Bitcoin when it only really invests in Bitcoin, right? It exits the market when things are going down, right? And jumps back in when things are going up. It's a classic momentum. You can actually even see it here. Bitcoin was falling and then we went flat, right? So we didn't lose as much as Bitcoin would have lost in this time frame. Same thing here. It fell and then we capped our losses, right? So it's a way of actually reducing your risk quite a bit, right? So it's actually very good at risk reduction. Making money is so-so, but really good at reducing your risk. And here what I'm doing is I'm actually testing different time intervals. So you see here, this is 70. So I have one here for momentum with 50 days, right? This is if I did a 50-day momentum, right? And you see the results here. The return is 710%, right? Versus Bitcoin, which is 1,084, right? So we didn't beat Bitcoin, but we did have a lower volatility. So we're taking less risk in that 50-day period. But then now we're trying the 70-day period, right? So what I'm doing here is I'm actually adjusting the time frame, right? What about 50 days? What about 70 days? Now, what about 90 days, right? Here's a 90-day comparison, right? And this is very easy for me to set up and test out. Well, I have this new algorithm, I have this new strategy where I want to do this, this, and this, right? You want to invest in RSI or whatever. You want to do some Bollinger Band stuff or whatever it is that you want to do, right? You can take that and you could test it to see what works better, right? Will it work better with a 30-day, with a 50-day, with a 70-day, with a 90-day? And you'll see here, there's going to be one more that comes out. But I can tell you with a certain degree of confidence that I would actually like to take the 70-day, right? And I'll even show you why. Here's a graph of all that, right? Here's the 70 momentum, right? The Sharpe ratio, the return, which is 1.22% or 22% or 122%, sorry. And then you see it kind of peaks out at 70 and starts to drop back down at 110. I could even go at here, momentum of 50. This is how it did, blue versus yellow. Momentum of 70. Okay, now we're actually beating, right? Momentum of 70 seems like actually maybe a good investment choice. It actually reduces your max drawdown, it reduces your volatility, and beats Bitcoin as well. So this is actually seems like a pretty good level to be doing this strategy at. Then we have 90 days, which isn't as good. And then we have 110 days, which is probably not a good idea, right? So you can really calibrate your strategies. You can figure out all the different time frames and things that you want to do in order to get your strategy just right, so you can make the maximum amount of money without taking crazy risks, right? So this is a way of being able to optimize your strategies, optimize it to make you the most money, and make sure that your account doesn't blow up or anything like that, right? So really, really interesting way they could do that sort of thing, right? Okay. So that's a couple different strategies there. Let me show you one more strategy, right? As you can see, our technology is quite powerful. You can do a lot of stuff with it, right? You could build these back tests. You could automatically trade. The same thing you back tested is the same thing you trade. It's very easy to switch that over. You saw me running those trades, right? So very easy to go from back testing to trading. You can, have very, very custom types of back tests, really get into the details of all these different things that you want to do. You could test out different time frames and different levels. What we could have done with this mean reversion strategies, we could even test, what about RSI of 20? What about an RSI of 24, right? Can we optimize it even a little bit more like that? That'd be a very interesting thing to try. And then we also have some other really cool strategies. And this is stuff that you really won't find anywhere else, to be quite honest with you. I've yet to see companies doing this sort of stuff. And this can make you a lot of money. I do not have a back test for this because this is way too difficult to back test. You need an extremely large amount of data to do something like this, to back test something like this. But I can tell you a lot of our students that have done things like this have made a killing, have made a fortune doing this stuff. I was talking to one of our past students who's telling me he's making 400% or 500% a year doing this sort of stuff. Very, very profitable if you know how to do it right. So basically what we're talking about here is we're trading off of text sentiment, or we're trading off of social media, right? So we can get a lot of information around the world for all sorts of things, right? We can get it from Twitter, from Discord, from Reddit, from Telegram. We could read news articles. We could be paying attention to emails that people send out. There's lots and lots of text information out there in the world, right, that we can use to help inform our trades, right? So some examples of this, right, could be following an influencer, right, or several influencers. Whenever Elon Musk talks about a certain company, right, so or a coin, Dogecoin, for example, surges a huge amount every single time he mentions it, right? Donald Trump, when he mentioned that stuff about Truth Social, that company shot up 300% in 2 days, right? And there's lots and lots of examples like this, right? These are just two off the top of my head. But there's a lot of these influencers out there, even if they're wrong, even if they tell you bad financial advice, right? They could still be right in the short term, right? Just because they have hundreds, like I think in the case of Elon Musk, 100 million followers on Twitter. When he speaks, 100 million people get this message, right? that alone is enough to drive up the price of a lot of different types of assets. You know what I mean? If he says something really good about a battery company or something, this stock price could shoot through the roof very easily in a day, right? Same thing goes for people like Trump. Same thing goes for anyone else in a position of power that has a big following, right? Whether you agree with them or not, they do have sway on the markets, right? And what you could do is you could build a bot that listens to that every time they mention it. You buy that stock or that coin or whatever, right? You hold it for a couple hours and then you sell it. And you would have effectively made a ton of money from that. I know some people making very, very good money doing these types of things. Like I said, one of our students making 400 or 500% a year doing this kind of stuff. It's very lucrative. But you could also do some other things, right? You could do social trends. I'm going to talk about news as well, right? You can listen to like messaging channels, like for example, Discord or Telegram. They have like these paid channels as well, where people talk about stocks and crypto and whatever. Some of them are like pump and dump schemes, but even if it's a pump and dump, you can still make quite a bit of money on the pump part, right? Just people are talking about a lot. Buy it, hold it for an hour, and then sell it. You don't have a ton of risk. You put stop losses in. You can make quite a bit of money without taking huge risks doing that sort of thing. Listening to these messaging channels. You can pay attention to social trends. For example, like Wall Street Bets on Reddit, or what I'm going to show you an example of using like the crypto Reddit channels to look at social trends and actually invest based on that stuff, right? And actually, let me run this for you so you can kind of see an example. I want to show you an example of this stuff. I'm going to sell these things I had in here before so I could show you kind of what's happening. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to run this bot that basically goes to Reddit, right? And goes specifically to a channel in Reddit, the crypto channel. So we go reddit.com. And it goes to the cryptocurrency subreddit. You could change this to be whatever you want it to be. Again, I gotta fix my credentials here. Just bear with me for a quick second. Those credentials. There we go. So what it's going to do is it's going to go to this Reddit cryptocurrency channel, right? We'll go to reddit.com, search cryptocurrency. Our cryptocurrency has 5.1 million members in here, right? And it's basically people talking about crypto all day long, right? You could sort it by hot posts, new posts, top posts. We're going to be using our bot to search these hot posts, okay? And there's all these people talking about 3AC borrowed millions from Voyager and BlockFi, and then we'll basically have the computer go open each one of these up and start reading through all the comments, right? So what are people talking about in here, right? Are they talking about Bitcoin? Are they talking about Litecoin? Are they talking about Nano? And are they saying positive or negative things, right? So this way we get a really good idea of market sentiment and how it's changing, right? Do people really like Litecoin right now? Do people like Ethereum? Are there smaller coins that they're talking about that maybe are about to break out? You can do that by going through all this Reddit stuff using a bot like this, reading through each message one by one, figuring out what it is that they're talking about and if it's a positive or negative signal, right? So here, this thing is pulling this stuff. It's going to take a little bit of time for it to actually download all this information from Reddit because it's downloading quite a bit of data. But what I have it set up to do is take a look at the first top 20 posts that are hot posts. And within that, I think the first 10 comments, and you can make that a lot more than that. I just have it set up as 10 because it's, in the interest of time, right? Because it will take quite a bit longer to do that. It wouldn't be a fun demo. But, if you're running this bot for real, you probably would want to have it read even more comments at a time. And you could do things like, what coins are the most popular right now? Just buy those coins. That's what this is doing, right? We're going to be looking at a bag of coins. We're going to be looking at Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, Litecoin, and Maker. We're going to be searching for any mentions of those in this cryptocurrency Reddit group, subreddit. And depending on which one got mentioned the most and had the highest sentiment, meaning, so a sentiment of 1 would be something like, I love Bitcoin, it's the best coin in the world, and I want to buy tons of it. I think it's awesome, right? That's a very positive sentiment, right? Talking about Bitcoin. Or you could say, I hate Litecoin. It's the stupidest thing I've ever heard of. Why would anyone ever want to buy this nonsense, right? That's a very negative sentiment, right? So we're going to be reading through all those comments on Reddit and figuring out what is the coin that people like the most right now. And then based on that information, we're going to construct a portfolio of the most popular coins right now on this Reddit group, right? We could also modify this thing to do a lot of other really cool stuff, like if a coin all of a sudden got a lot better sentiment recently, right? Why did it get a better sentiment? Maybe there's something going on, so maybe we want to buy that, right? There's a lot of things that we can do with these social channels, right? And it's going to let this thing keep running. It does take a little bit of time sometimes because it is downloading quite a bit of information, right? So I'm just going to let that run, and you'll see it starts to trade in a bit, right? But that's another thing that you could do with these types of bots, right? These like social type bots or text or machine learning reading type bots, right? Another thing you do is also search for news, right? You can have a bot that is constantly reading something like Benzinga or some sort of crypto news channel, and just looking for, is there any news that came out recently that might move the markets, right? So there might be a news story that came out, and maybe it's like all over Twitter and everyone's talking about it, right? Maybe, Solana servers are down or something like that, right? There's, something going on, either positive or negative, right? And you can take advantage of that information, right? You can say, okay, this positive news story came out. The coin is starting to go up. My technical analysis is showing me that it's going up. Let me buy it now. I'm going to hold it for the next 2 hours, and then I'm going to put a stop loss to make sure that I don't lose money on the way out. So you're mitigating your risk. And you can actually make quite a bit of money on things like this. When news stories come out, you could actually be the first one in there trading this stuff. Ethereum 2.0 comes out. Better believe it that Ethereum is going to shoot through the moon as soon as that thing gets announced, right? Some other coins, maybe like a Solana network crash. That's probably not going to be very good for Solana. You could be trading all those types of things. You could be the first one in, first one out on all these different news stories that happen. So a lot of really cool stuff they could do. This bot actually went through all this stuff. There's a lot of text to read here, but basically this is kind of the output that we got from reading all of Reddit, right? Here is Ethereum. Ethereum had an average score of 0.24, right? So mildly positive sentiment for Ethereum, right? It's a little hard to read, but here's Bitcoin. Bitcoin had a score of 19, right? 0.19. So not as good as Ethereum, right? But still positive. And then we didn't have any mentions actually of Litecoin, Solana, or Maker, which is interesting, actually. People just aren't talking about them anymore. So we're not going to keep them in our basket here. That's how this strategy works. And we have just 2 coins that are mentioned, Ethereum and Bitcoin. Ethereum had a higher score of 0.24 in terms of sentiment, 1 being the best, anything under 0 being bad. So it's mildly positive. Bitcoin is also mildly positive, 0.19. Because of those sentiment scores, we give them weights. We give more weight to Ethereum than we do to Bitcoin, right? We're going to give 56% of our money to Ethereum, 43% of our money to Bitcoin. And if we pop back to our broker, you can see, if you give it a second, that it automatically bought these 2, right? Automatically bought Ethereum and Bitcoin in exactly those proportions that we're talking about, right? 27,000 or 28,000 and 21,000, right? So we're talking about the 56 and the 46%. Automatically did that for you, right? And now this thing will constantly keep scanning and see, what are the most popular coins right now? What are people talking about? And will automatically buy those coins for you. The ones that are being mentioned the most, the ones that have the most positive sentiment, you're going to always own the ones that Reddit is telling you, based on the sentiment of everyone talking on Reddit, what people are telling you are kind of good coins to buy or not. So really it kind of takes away your need to do research, right? You're the first one to respond to news stories. Even if you're like in the middle of having dinner with, your future wife or husband or something like that, right? And you're super involved in this dinner. It's like the best time of your life. In the meantime, your bots are also making you money, right? They're going to keep scanning for these news stories. They're going to keep listening to influencers. They're going to keep looking at social media, paying attention to, is there any activity happening and can I take advantage of that activity to make money, right? Really, really cool stuff. Personally, I've never seen bots like this before around, and I think it's a really, really good way to make money. I can tell you our students have made a killing doing this kind of stuff. All right, so that's the last bot that I wanted to show you. And if I keep running this bot, it's just going to keep adjusting over time and just keep staying on top of what's happening there on Reddit. All right, so those are the 4 bots I wanted to show you. We have quite a few more. I could take you through other ones if you want, but it's, we've gone kind of down the time here. But I can tell you kind of, we have a ton of other bots. You can do a lot of technical analysis stuff. I think in crypto, technical analysis makes a lot of sense. A lot of people pay attention to stuff, and it seems to actually make money doing this technical analysis stuff. If you take our classes, we'll show you in depth how to do this sort of stuff. There's lots of examples, and there's lots of different things you could do. You could trade technicals by doing scalping. You could do it to make smart portfolio management. You could do a lot of really interesting things with technical analysis. We help you with that a lot in this class, and we'll teach you all sorts of different ways to do this. It's quite easy, actually, to do this stuff. We could connect to a lot of custom feeds and signals. For example, there's this company called Lunar Crush that if you go to it, they show you sentiment analysis for like every coin out there. And they have like this recommendation engine of like what coin you should buy and what coin you shouldn't, right? If you go to this website, it's very cool. Apparently, if you took their suggestions and you back tested it, sometimes like 4 times the return of Bitcoin, right? You make some really good returns. You could build a bot that just listens to these guys and just trades what they're saying to trade, right? You could do that. You could do something like Token Sniffer, right? Token Sniffer is an interesting website. You can make a bot that reads websites like this, that basically keeps looking out for new coins, right? And if you click into these coins, right? So here's Google Ape, Space Moonzilla, Baby Space Godzilla. There's all these random nonsense coins, to be quite honest with you. But I mean, maybe some of them are legit, maybe some of them are not. So Token Sniffer will help you sort that out. You go to this website, gives you a smell test, right? This one's 37 out of 100. Go figure. Baby Space Godzilla sounds like a fake coin. It makes sense to me. But what they do is they look through things. They check, what is the fee, the buy fee, the sell fee. They check, is there liquidity in it, right? How much is owned by the creator, right? The creator owns 10% of the coin, right? So there's always like signs that make it look like this might not be a very legit thing. You could have a bot that automatically reads this stuff and will buy new coins that come out that have a high score on this. And especially, you could even look for coins like that and monitor them and look for breakouts or look for news stories that are coming out on them to try to get that gain when it actually does take off. There's a lot of really interesting things you could do, right? With bots and all these different APIs and all these different things you can do. Really, really interesting things that they can go through. Right. Okay, so that's my spiel. Let me tell you a little bit about the full course, right? So we have an entire course on this, right? It's called Crypto Trading Using Algorithms, right? And this course will essentially teach you how to do all the stuff that I was doing today. All these algorithms that we ran through today, you're going to get access to all those algorithms. You'll get all the code. You'll learn how to do this stuff. You will learn how to build your own types of technical analysis bots, how to back test something yourself. You will be able to learn how to make things that track social media and look for news stories. You'll learn how to make all that type of stuff. And even if you're a new beginner, right? We have a lot of people that come through this class, never coded a day in their life, and still come out and still have built some pretty cool algorithms, right? It's not that difficult. We've made technology that makes this as simple as possible for you guys, right? So I'm going to put a link to this course in here, right? Into into the chat. All right, there we go. You can read about the course description, right? Basically, we're going to take you from A to Z to teach you how to do all this sort of stuff, right? We talked about this already. Why do we use algorithms to trade crypto, right? You can learn about our course learning outcomes, what we expect you to get out of it. But let me direct your attention here to the course curriculum. All right, so basically what you're going to learn in this course is there's 3 parts to it, right? Part 1 is getting your fundamentals down, right? So even if you don't know how to code or if you're rusty, we'll get you to the point where you are good to be able to start working on these algorithms. So week 1 is an introduction. You'll get to know other people in the class. It's very social. A lot of people end up working on projects together after going through a class like this. We'll get your system set up. We'll make sure that you understand how to go through the course and all that kind of stuff. It's a very good intro day, right? Week 2, we do a Python introduction. We will take you through all the basics of Python really fast. So if you've never done Python before, you'll understand all the basics in that one day. Obviously, if you're brand new to Python, you're going to have to put in some work and learn how to do this as well. But we give you that very nice fundamentals. And we give you a lot of resources to be able to go and learn this stuff and get really, really good at it, right? You don't need to be an expert programmer for this stuff. Building bots is not very complicated technically. It is much more difficult to actually sit down and come up with these strategies, right? So your Python skills, if you're not a good programmer, I wouldn't worry too much about it. If you are a great programmer, if you're someone that has been doing this for a while, you probably run circles around people. You can do some really, really cool stuff, but that is not required to go through this class. I think both people will get a lot of benefit from it, but there's not, you don't have to be this incredible programmer to do this stuff, right? So week 2 is a Python introduction. Week 3 is intermediate Python. We teach you all the like intermediate stuff inside of Python. And then we also teach you how to like install Lumiwealth and install the stuff on your computer and get you going, right? So by week 3, you'll actually have a bot working on your computer, right? Part 2, so we actually shifted this a little bit, but part 2, week 4, we would normally go setting up your crypto bot. We've now set that to be week 3. So you actually by week 4, you're really polishing this stuff, and we're going to start going through some examples of different crypto bots, right? So you'll see different ways to do this stuff. We'll show you how to connect to different brokerages. How do you connect to KuCoin? How do you connect to Binance? How do you connect to Coinbase? How do you connect to Alpaca? We'll show you how to do all that stuff, and we'll have your bot actually placing trades. By the end of week 4, you'll have a working bot, right? So you'll be able to take this stuff and you'll actually be able to start working and trading by week 4, right? Week 5, we're going to show you how to back test a strategy, which means how are you going to get the data for this? How are you going to load that data into the back tester? And how are you actually going to go through back test this? And importantly, how do you use these back tests to come up with good insights? Is this a bot that you want to run? Are you going to make money doing this, right? How can you tweak it, right? Are there things that you can make your bot better with, right? How can you do all that sort of stuff, right? That's going to be week 5. You're really going to be able to build, not just build bots, but improve them and make them better over time using the stuff you learn in week 5, right? Then part 3, weeks 6, 7, and 8, we're going to go through lots of different strategies, right? You're going to see all the strategies that you saw today, the custom ETF, the mean reversion. You're going to see the social media stuff. And then we're also going to go over machine learning, how to do machine learning for crypto trading. We're going to show you a lot of different examples. This is all code that you can use yourself and run the bot yourself if you want to. Or you can build something similar or modify what we have there in order for you to actually run these types of things. So by the end of week 8, you're going to know how to code in Python, how to set up your computer, make sure all the stuff's working, how to place your first trades, connect to different brokers, how to back test this stuff. And then you're going to see a lot of different examples of all these different bots using machine learning, trading social stuff, using tactical analysis, all these different things you're going to see examples of within part 3 and throughout the course, right? So you're going to be a really nice trading expert by the end of this class, right? So how do we structure our classes, and what are the different plans that you can get for our classes? So we have 3 different plans. They each get more and more, they all stack on top of each other, right? So first it's self-directed, then live, then project help and tutoring. Everything in self-directed is in live, and then everything in live is in project help tutoring. So they stack on top of each other, right? So self-directed is basically you get to watch the recordings, right? So you can watch previous recordings of the classes, see how other students reacted to things. You're going to get access to our Discord community. We have a Discord channel where everyone kind of gets trading ideas and trades. We have a voice channel every Tuesday. They can join, listen to what other people are building, get some ideas, maybe share code with other people. We really work on this community quite a bit, right? So to be part of that community, right, the private community, you're going to get all the code from the entire class. There's all the algorithms that I showed you today, plus more, right? Then you're also going to get access to all the recordings. And if you need any help, more than happy. I'm the instructor for this course. I'm more than happy to jump on a call with you or answer questions over Discord. So this is not like taking a class somewhere else where it's like, oh, just you figure it out. No, we really spend a lot of time trying to help you guys and make sure that if you're stuck anywhere, you have help to help you get through that. We'll jump on calls. I'll do whatever it takes to make sure that you get the most out of this and you can build your own stuff, right? So that's self-directed. It's recorded videos. That's kind of the key thing here. Live classes has all of that, right? You get access to the community. You get access to help. You actually get more help with the live class than you get with the self-directed class. Well, I'll spend a lot of time with you with the live classes. Then you also get the course recordings, and you get access to the community, and you get access to all the code. But on top of that, you also get to join our live classes. This is a thing that people really love. People love our live classes a heck of a lot more than anything else. Actually, this used to be our best-selling plan. Now, actually, Project Help Tutoring has become our best-selling plan. I guess people really like the additional stuff that they get from it. Sounds like we're doing something right. But the live classes are really cool because it's not just you sitting there watching videos. You get to participate, right? So that means, first of all, we'll be going through all this stuff live, which means it kind of like forces you to go and sit down and do this stuff. You know, people have busy lives. This helps you actually pace yourself and get the stuff moving. It's motivation. But it's also, if you get stuck anywhere, it's a live class. You get to ask questions live throughout the class. Kind of like today, you guys can ask questions live if you want to, but we're live over Zoom. So you can actually turn on your microphone, share your screen if you want to. Hey, I'm stuck. It's not working on my computer. Okay, share your screen. Let's get it fixed, right? This is part of the live class. We go through all this stuff. People that go through our live classes tend to do very well in our courses, right? So that's our live class plan. Okay. Then there's a project help tutoring plan, which is all of that plus more, right? You get all the videos, you get access to our community, you get access to all the code. You have to run all these bots automatically. You get access to code immediately. By the way, if you guys buy today, you get access to code right now, immediately. You get access to live classes as well. And then with project help and tutoring, you also can get help from our software engineers or get a lot of live one-on-one help, right? So which means that if you're going through this class and you're like, okay, well, I want to learn how to build this bot, and maybe I have something in mind. Maybe you have some sort of thing in mind that you want to build, right? I have this strategy or that strategy. Well, we have a bunch of developers on our team that could actually sit down and help you build those bots out, right? They could write code for you and actually help you build that first version of your bot, or help you when you're stuck, or build out that component that you're finding very difficult to build. We can help you with that as well, right? So you're getting access to the class, you're getting the recordings, you're getting all that stuff, the live class, plus you're getting a team of developers behind you to help you build all these things out. That's probably why this has become one of our most popular plans right now. We're finding a lot more people buying this than the live classes lately, probably because you do get a lot of that extra help if you need it, right? So here are the price points for the different classes, right? So that's self-directed class. Again, it's the videos, the code library, the community, all that stuff. It's $1,598. That's available in 3 and 5 month payment plans if you want. You can pay it all up front, or you can do over 3 months or 5 months, right? Then there's a live class that again has everything from the self-directed, plus it has live classes. You have a lot extra Q&A. We get help. We can help you with resume and interview prep if that's something you're interested in. All right, so you get all this extra stuff here for $3,695, and again, that can be paid in 3 or 5 month payment plans if you would like. And then we have our probably our most popular plan these days, the Project Help and Tutoring, which gives you everything from self-directed and everything from live. And then on top of that, you also get help with building this project and a lot of one-on-one support. So really, really get a lot of people behind you, making sure that you can build this algorithm out to make you quite a bit of money doing this stuff. These classes cost $5,283, right? And again, 3 and 5 month payment plans available for that. And one more thing to mention is these live classes, you have lifetime access to them, right? So let's say you show up to a live class. The next one for this is starting end of July. We can actually go down here. July 27th is when this course starts. So pretty soon, in about 2 weeks, actually exactly 2 weeks, on a Wednesday. So basically imagine not next week, but the week after, you can start learning and doing all this stuff, right? If you sign up today, you actually even get access to the code immediately. But this class starts on July 27th. Registration closes a week before then. So next week, registration will close. The course goes for 8 weeks, excluding holiday breaks, right? I don't think there's any holiday breaks in this time period, but if there are, then we extend it by that amount. And then we also spend about 8 to 12 hours per week is kind of what we expect or what we suggest for you to do. Although, you could spend more, spend less time if you need to. It's going to be every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Pacific, right? So basically the same time that this class was at, right? The exact same time in 2 weeks, right? So if you can make it today, you can make it in 2 weeks, right? And it's about 2 hours per week live over Zoom that we go through all this stuff, right? If you're interested in purchasing, you can just click on the select course here, right? That will add it to your cart, right? It looks like this, and then you go proceed to checkout and follow the prompts here, right? You can go through pay with payment plan if you want. You can put in your credit card. You can use PayPal if you want instead, and then your billing information and all that, right? So that will be there. If July is a little too soon for you, you could also sign up to our October class, which starts October 12th, 2022. Same thing, it's 8 weeks long. This one is also every Wednesday at 8 p.m. Eastern or 5 p.m. Pacific. Same thing, 2 hours per week. But the one thing that you do get with this October class, if you want to start in October and you want to save yourself some money, we do have an early bird special going on right now. If you use this coupon code LAEBCTO on that checkout screen. So over here, you can put in a coupon code, right? If you put that coupon code in here, you will save yourself another 20%, which works out to like something like $700 on a live class. So you can save yourself quite a bit of money if you go through the early bird as well. All right. And you can also read about, myself here. So a little bit of information, right? You could also, don't take my word for it. You could listen to our students, right? You could hear from all the things that they've built out. There's the game, it's a student from a while back. There's Renee, Santayan. This is a guy that's been making quite a bit of money investing. He's built some really cool algorithms. Joel is another one. And then you can read some more testimonials down here. And then we also have more on our YouTube page and in our testimonials section on our website as well. So more testimonials. You can even go through more of them here. So if you're interested in learning, what our other students go through, there's lots of reviews they can read about what other people did and how they enjoyed the course and all that. Right. Okay, cool. So so that's pretty much it. Right. Again, I shared with you the link here. Right. If you guys want to sign up for this class, it does start very soon. So I'd recommend that you guys get on that. The registration closes in a week. So I hope to see you guys in this class. I think it'll be very cool. I've already met a couple of the people that are going to be in the class. I think we're going to have a very good cohort this time around. This crypto class is super interesting. I love teaching it. I love the people who go through it. I feel like I learn a lot from you guys as well, teaching this stuff. We build a lot of like custom algorithms as we go through it. The live classes are really cool. Sometimes what we'll do with live classes too is people will have like algorithms that they want to build, and I'll just write it on the fly. So you'll see kind of what it looks like to build a bot on the fly, and you can have a bot built for you for things that you want to have done. But yeah, I mean, it'd be great for you guys to join this class. This is our third time running it, second or third time, and I hope to see you guys there. All right. Any questions or on anything that we covered today? Questions, comments, thoughts? Let's make some money. We're going to be running a really cool website soon that I think is going to make a lot of people a lot of money. I'm very excited about this. And if you guys go through our course and you guys learn how to build algorithms, you could actually put algorithms on our website and make money. Even if you don't personally have your own investments, if you know how to build these types of algorithms, you could actually make a lot of money selling these things to other people. And we're going to build like a marketplace like that as well. All right. So I'm going to leave you guys, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of time to ask any questions. Feel free to type them into the chat. If you know you have a question afterwards, make sure that you join our Discord channel. You can message me on Discord. I usually respond quite quickly on Discord. So if you have some questions there, feel free to reach out. You could also email me. My email address I'm going to put into the chat. It's rob@lumiwealth.com, right? If you want to send me an email. To be honest, I'm a lot faster on Discord, but if you want to ask some questions, you can email me too. Cool. So we're getting some questions in here. So Scott says Algo Marketplace. Yeah, Algo Marketplace. I think it's going to be very cool. I'm very excited to launch this product. Anton says these bots are applicable for stock trading as well. Yes, they are. Absolutely. So this class in particular, we're going specifically through crypto. So all the examples you're going to see are going to be for crypto bots. But it's actually pretty easy for you to switch from crypto to stocks. It's really not that much effort. It's really just kind of saying, change this asset from buying a stock to buying crypto, right? And you might have to change brokers, right? But it's pretty similar. If you learn how to do this with crypto, you can learn how to do this with stocks. They're very, very similar to each other. If you're interested specifically for stocks, we have a class called Algorithmic Trading that covers specifically for stocks, right? This class is going to be covering specifically crypto, right? But again, there's a lot of overlap, and you can, if you learn one, you'll be able to do the other quite a bit easier, right? Another question here from Christopher. Hey, while I have you, you sent an email out last week with a survey and offered a bot for free for taking it. When will I see that? It's a great question, Christopher. So that is a product that we have not launched yet. We plan to launch that product in about 2 weeks, and we're going to start off with a very small group of people. We're going to start off with maybe about 5 to 10 people at first, right? This is because technical challenges, right? It's a lot to actually set this up for quite a few people. And also we want to make sure that we're doing things legally compliant, right? So we're going to be moving a little slow at first, but we're going to release that product in about 2 weeks. If you are one of those first 5 to 10 people, you'll receive the first month free, right? If you filled out that survey, right? And then we will slowly start to release this out to more and more people. And then once this is available to, you know, whenever it's available to you, whether you're part of the first 5 or the first 10 or later on, you're going to get that first month free for filling out that survey. So great question, Christopher. I've had a lot of people ask me that question. The product is not out yet. It will be out probably in about 2 weeks, working very hard to try to get this thing out. So Scott asks, where can we use Lumi with futures? Well, LumiBot can trade futures, right? So if you want to trade futures, the broker that we're working with right now is Interactive Brokers, right? So if you want to trade futures, you could trade through them. We have plans to add in TradeStation in the future as well, and TD Ameritrade. Those are two that we plan on adding into the future, but they're not available just yet, right? We will have them at some point in the future, right? So if you want to trade futures, you do it using LumiBot, and you do it through Interactive Brokers for now, right? In the future, we'll give you access to different brokers, but you can definitely trade futures. And I think I think futures are a great thing to actually use a bot with, because they do move quite a bit, and there's quite a bit of leverage that you can use. So there are there's quite a bit of things that you do with bots and futures. So great question, Scott. Christopher says copy. It's great. Cool. All right. Any other questions, guys? You guys have been a great group, by the way. I like these questions that you guys are asking. Cool. All right. Well, again, if you guys have questions, feel free to reach out to me on Discord. Feel free to email me, rob@lumiwealth.com. I put that into the chat. Make sure you check us out on YouTube. Make sure you join our Discord. And I hope to see you guys in this class coming up in 2 weeks. Let's build some cool bots together. Let's make some money. All right. Awesome. Well, thank you very much, guys. It's been a pleasure. Thank you. And I hope you guys have a great night and hope to see you soon. Bye, guys.